Welcome back to the Other Ref podcast. My name is Nate, and joining me as always is my co-host Jake. Jake, how are we doing today?
We're doing pretty good, Nate. Matt Fitzpatrick, the week that we both hop off of him, gets it done. That should come as no surprise to either of us. But Nate, you had some success on the LPGA tour, so you're not running too dry. We're both still dry on the PGA tour, so we'll look to get that done. We need to get one under the belt. It's coming. It makes Mondays a little tougher, but again, good for Fitzpatrick. He didn't let last week really bother
Yep.
him because he shouldn't have. Cam Young kind of took the players from him. He didn't necessarily punt it away. And then he continued his good run of form last week and just, it seemed for a little bit towards the end that just no one wanted to take it. And then Fitzpatrick had an extremely frustrating Sunday, missing some putts, but ultimately made birdie on 18 and edged out David Lipsky by a stroke there on Sunday. So good on Fitzpatrick. The win was coming, and indeed it did come to his trophy case this week, Nate.
Yeah, if Fitzpatrick could have putt on Sunday, he would have ran away with this event really quickly. He missed a lot of inside 10-foot birdie chances, but either way, got it done. And again, it's always the week you get off. I mean, again, he was 18 to 1, so it wasn't like I was dying to get on Fitzpatrick at 18 to 1 to Valspar as I played him 50 to 1 to players. So it is what it is, right? We moved past those ones. Liv, Bryson DeChambeau took that down again. I was on the week before. He won there. Got shorter odds, one out there in South Africa, and then you mentioned it. Finally got one across the board on the LPGA. Haijo Kim had a five-stroke lead going into Sunday, blew it in on the front nine. She was even with Nelly Korda through the front nine, and I was like, all right, this is done. This is how my luck's going this season. A five-stroke lead, I came and hold on. I mean, the PGA Tour has shown us that no matter what. And then something switched. Haijo just, she got one up on Nelly Korda and then held her off for the rest of the event, and a three putt enough to win an 18. So he crossed that one off the checklist and got another victory there. It's been an okay last 2 weeks with Bryson in Singapore, a first round leader, even though it was split there at the players, and then this one here. So we're staying afloat, not through the PGA or the DP World Tour for me right now. It's those other tours, but we're getting there, and it's coming, right? That's a glory of golf betting. You can go dry for 5 months, hit a few winners, and you're positive for the entire season. So that's the joy of doing this and the way we do things.
Yep, exactly.
All right, so this week, guys, we head to Texas for the first of two events. Here we go, Jake. The Texas Children's Houston Open on the PGA Tour. The first of two stops on the Texas, of course, before the Masters in just 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks, however you want to justify that math. I'll say two to make it sound closer. And then we head to India for the Hero Indian Open on the DP World Tour. And if you're not a DP World Tour guy, this is one of those events to tune in. This is one of the toughest golf courses anywhere in the world, especially in all of Asia. This is a grind fest. Last year, only three players finished above or below par, excuse me. So if you're looking for, if you're not looking for a birdie fest like we'll see in Texas this week, if you want to come out here and have some fun and watch some guys grind it out, this is your event for that as well. But before we do hop into the thing, Jake, where people find you on social media?
Yep, you can find me on X at JakeOOTR, where I post all my outright betting cards. Make sure you give me a follow there. You can also join the Out of the Rough Discord, which is completely free with no hidden paywalls. We've got over 275 members in there, ranging from diehard golf fans to professional gamblers, all sharing insight that makes it an awesome free resource to have every single week. Nate runs our community wager tracker in the Discord where he compiles everyone's picks into one clean list. It's good for seeing who the community is backing and celebrating the wins. So a quick shout out to Sauce for hitting Matt Fitzpatrick last week at the Valspar Championship. Nate and I also share exclusive content in the Discord, including my tournament and round matchups, along with Nate's first round leader bets. If you want the link, feel free to reach out to either of us. And don't forget to check out ootrough.com for our weekly articles. Andrew covers the Hotel Planet Tour and Corn Ferry Tour. Nate covers all the tours, PGA Tour, DP World Tour, Live, and LPGA. And I cover the PGA Tour with some DFS content included in my article. You'll also find Nate's shots gained putting by grass type, which is another completely free resource that's absolutely worth checking out. So again, all of this super useful, all at your fingertips, completely free. So go check it out.
You can also find the Out of the Rough one and done on our website. It's a weekly game where you pick a different golfer each week. Prize money is scoring. Just a fun, free way to follow along the PGA Tour, DP World Tour. Have a little competition about it, and then there will be prizes at the end of the year for that. So make sure you check that out. Beyond that, Jake has it all covered. So let's just move forward here. All right, the Texas Children's Houston Open here. This used to be an event on the FedEx Cup Fall Series, but 2 years ago was moved to the spring placement and placement of the WGC Dell Technologies Match Play, which of course is no longer. It has gone under multiple sponsorships, most recently, of course, being the Texas Children's Houston or Texas Children's Hospital as the new sponsor title. I think it was what, since 2023. Prior to that, 2022 was Cadence Bank, and it's been, most notably known as the Shell Open because that was 1992 through 2017. So if you are talking to an old timer, they'll probably mention that this event is the Shell Open. It's being held at Memorial Park Golf Course, which is a public golf course. This is the fifth year that this event will be held there. We'll talk about that here in a second. But the field at first, of course, we're in Texas, so world number one Scotty Scheffler will be here this week. Hasn't won this event, but he's looking desperately to find some form. He has been not the Scotty we are used to seeing. He is stumbling, and we'll see if he can figure out something here before he heads to Augusta in an attempt to win a third green jacket. He is looking for something. Chris Gotterup, Ben Griffin, Harris English, Ryan Gerard, Shane Lowry, and Minwoo Lee round at the top of those in the top 30 of the OWGR playing this week. Um, of course, Minwoo Lee comes to the defending champion, having held off a late charge by Scotty Scheffler and Gary Woodland by a stroke to claim his maiden PGA Tour title. Some other former winners of this event played this week include Steven Yeager in 2024 and Tony Finau in 2022. So the aforementioned Memorial Park Golf Course is a public course that sees upwards of 30,000 rounds played by amateur golfers each year. It was overhauled in 2019 by Tom Doak, who used Brooks Koepka to consult on. Koepka's influence is present as this course now plays much like that of a major event. The course emulates major conditions with its combination of length and difficult greenside runoffs. It was in disrepair prior to the renovation and on the verge of losing its spot on the tour until the revitalization happened. It plays very untraditionally with five par threes and just three par fives. So take note of that. Although there was a decrease in the number of par fives, they are also crucial in any potential winner's game. The par threes are long, and that is the case of everything on this golf course. The only real chance of consistent birdies here comes on the par fives, and as previously mentioned, must be capitalized by anyone who hopes to win. Approach play will be key. I think that's notable here with Brooks Koepka's influence. With long iron approach shots, the course on paper already plays long, but plays even longer than what is advertised. Half of the ten par fours featured this week play over 490 yards. Only 5 holes in the golf course feature a score and average under par. The five 490 yard plus par fours, that's a mouthful, and the 237 yard par three are the most difficult holes on this golf course. If you look back at 2021 and 2022, playing this event, the shortest par three, par four, and par five each played with a scoring average over par as well. So just because they're shorter doesn't mean they're easier. There isn't much in terms of bunkers, water hazards, or out of play areas, but the thick rough that offers difficult lies can derail any hole. And of course, back to Brooks Koepka's influence, this course features major-esque greenside runoff areas that will see greens hard to hold. Due to this, golfers must come with a competent around the green game as well. Greens regulation will be crucial simply because any hopeful winners cannot leave any strokes out in the golf course. These recent runoff form will be hard as well because these conditions and types of golf course are unlike what we've seen, especially over the last month in Florida. Maybe the Valspar Championship at Innisbrook can be a little bit of a reference, but not much. But in all, this is a firm condition golf course, some Texas winds, tight runouts, and around the green, and unpredictable gusting Texas winds, as I mentioned. So there's a lot to unfold here. Again, it doesn't play as it describes, right? The PGA Tour professionals are able to attack this golf course from all the breakdown of what I just said there. But it is a different type of golf course. It does play untraditionally with those five par threes. So yeah, checking into that here.
No, I think you covered it all.
All right. So on to our betting cards. I have five guys, and I think we have three crossovers, Jake. So we'll
Yep.
just kick things off with the first of those crossovers with Chris Gotterup, who I had circled here. So he ranks second overall my stats based model this week. Currently second on tour on par five, sixth in distance, 27th on approach, 30th in putting on Bermuda, 37th around the green, 39th in par three average scoring and bogey avoidance, 52nd of green regulations, 54th in ball striking and scrambling, and 62nd in the hole, or approximately the hole from 200 yard plus. So he last played the Players where he plays 56, but prior to that, 18th at the API, he missed the cut at the Genesis, 37th at Pebble, won the Phoenix Open, 18th at the Farmers Insurance Open, and won the Sony Open in Hawaii. He placed 18th at this event a season ago, 57th in 2024. This guy is on a different level right now. I know the recent form isn't there, but he's a two-time winner on the season for a reason. Doing so, the WM Phoenix Open in a pretty talented field. Even that field in Sony is pretty good for in relation to what Sony has usually been. But again, at 25 to 1 in this field, where you really just have Scotty Scheffler, threatening, who isn't in the greatest of form, I think this is great value for Chris Gotterup.
Yeah, Nate, not much to add. This is a guy who has 3 wins in his last, I don't know, 15 or so starts. So getting a guy with those odds with a, struggling Scotty Scheffler, he feels like the cream of the crop here towards the top, and we're getting some very solid odds on him. So again, I joins on him, like you said. Hopefully we can get our first joint winner here, Nate, because I think that Gotterup, this
Yes.
course should fit his game really, really well, and this is a really good opportunity for him to get, I don't know, 4 wins and 16 or so starts. So pretty impressive that opportunity for Goddard up here.
Yeah, it would be an insane run of form for him. We'll see what happens with it. But you mentioned it's a great golf course and a great fit for him and a great number.
Yep. Moving on to my second play here, I went with Minwoo Lee, so he's actually a little bit lower odds than Goddard, but defending champion here, playing some just super good golf. I'm willing to throw out his performance at the Players, which wasn't even that bad. He finished T32. He gained just slightly across the board. He lost a little bit around the greens, which again, when you think of Minwoo Lee, it's that elite short game that he brings week in and week out. So happy to throw that out because the couple weeks before that, he had a T6 at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, T12 at the Genesis Invitational, then a T2 at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. So playing some awesome golf. He's proven that he could really dominate this golf course because he brings that plus distance, above average irons, and elite short game that you need to win here, which he's proven. So I really liked his odds at 20 to 1 I got him at. I thought that there was enough meat on the bone there to take another shot on him with a struggling Scotty Scheffler in the field.
For sure, defending champion for a reason, right? And held off Scotty a season ago. He tried to throw the event away. He found water that late on that round, but had a big enough lead where he was able to hold things off. And I'll never forget his, he chipped up, like nestled right against the hole and came up and pretended to do the aim point right next to the hole. And it was a good laugh, good laugh. But either way, can't doubt you. Bin Lee, good, great number two on the defending champion. Love to play it. All right, I'm going with Adam Scott 40 to 1 for my next play. And, again, my model told me Adam Scott has great value here as my top option on my model. And who might ignore my model? It's let me down all season, so we'll just keep plugging away at it. But, he's currently third on tour in par threes. He's ninth on approach, 17th in both proximate hole from 200 plus and par fives. 23rd scrambling, 26 in distance. He checks every box. His lowest stats of those I considered was 97th around the green, which is about tour average, so not too concerned there. He last played the Players Championship where he placed 56th, but prior to that, he was 11th at the API, 4th at the Genesis, 30th at the Farmers, 24th at the American Express, and 40th at the Sony. He played this event in 2022 his last time, so he placed 54th there and 32nd in 2021. But he plays the Australian golf, right? They hit the ball long distance and they're very, very good putters. It's around the green play that kind of holds Adam Scott down, but he's tour average right now. The irons are hot. He's a top 10 approach player on tour and top 10 in approximate hole from 200 plus yards. So everything I need at this golf course, he is elite at so far this season. So if he can get it done here and join Min Woo Lee as back-to-back Australian champions at Texas Children's Houston Open.
Yeah, Nate, this was the first guy off my card, and it's because I ended up playing this guy on Sunday. As my third play here, I took the odds on DraftKings and he got shot down. But back to Adam Scott here, like you said, brings everything you want to this golf course. And as long as he isn't fighting around the greens too
Mhm.
heavily with these runoff areas, if he's sticking it, which he's proven with his irons that he's hitting the ball super, super well.
Yeah.
It's a really good opportunity for a 45-year-old to get his 14th win on the PGA Tour. That's a huge amount of wins, a very accomplished golfer.
Yeah, I mean, he's been there, done that. He's 46th on the tour in strokes gained putting Bermuda as well, so he gets well in these Bermuda greens. I love the play, just love the play, all top to bottom.
Yep. Moving into my third play here, as I alluded to, I took him on Sunday night. The number's far gone. I got Marco Penja at 52 to 1, I believe it was at. Um, he didn't rank highly in my model, but it was a strong showing at the Valspar last week, and he comes to a course that I think suits his game better than the
Mhm.
Valspar. He finished T4 last week. Um, His other notable finish here was a T16 at the Genesis Invitational on the PGA Tour. It's been kind of touch and go for him. He's still getting his feet under him on the PGA Tour level, but I truly believe that he's an elite talent and is going to be a PGA Tour winner someday. His biggest strength is off the tee. He bombs the ball off the tee. He ranks first on the PGA Tour in that category so far this season. Everything else is a little bit behind the eight ball, but what do we know about him? The iron play is usually there. And the putter, the short game leaves a little bit to be desired. So again, it's kind of this was an eye test play for me. 52 felt like a big enough number to take a shot on. I think he's bet down to like 35 or 30, which is something I would never touch at this point. But I guess I'm just banking on the good off the tee and hoping that the rest of the game could kind of follow suit here for Penge to give him a shot to win this week.
Yeah, no, if you're an English golf fan, you should be excited about the future of especially Penge here, who won 3 times the DP World Tour a season ago, and that's no easy feat there. We've seen on the PGA Tour, those who didn't follow the DP World Tour and are just introduced to Penge this season have been welcomed to his addition to the tour. And yeah, I love to play there 52 to 1. You mentioned 30, 35, not touching that with what do they say, a 10-foot stick. So stay away, but 52 to 1, I endorse that fully. We'll move right into my next play here, and this is my first click this week. Ryan Gerard at 50 to 1, a massive number for what is he, like 25th in the world? He's top 30 in the world in the OWGR at least, but he's definitely cooled off since his red hot start to the season. But it's not like he's playing bad golf. 27th of the Players, 51st of the API, 23rd of the Cognizant, 28th of the Genesis, 45th of the Pebble, 11th of the Farmers, 2nd of the American Express, and 2nd of the Sony Open Hawaii. He also placed 9th at this event a season ago, so he's a top 10 at this exact event and golf course. He's currently 4th on tour in green regulations. He's 6th on approach, 12th in par 5s, 15th in ball striking, 19th in bogey avoidance, 39th in par 3s, 73rd in strokes gained putting Bermuda, 88th in distance, 90th in scrambling. And then, the long irons aren't necessarily there for Ryan Gerard. He's 127 in, 200 plus yard approaches. But, he's 6th on tour in approach. So I think that number maybe just there aren't enough approaches from 200 plus for Gerard here. So that could be a different number. And then 131 around the green where the, wheels could fall off for Gerard. But we're talking about a guy here who has had three run-up performances between the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour to start this season. A top 30 of the players in his last outing. He is elite with the approach, green relations, all of that. So we'll see what comes with it. But 50 to 1 was a number I could not leave out there on Ryan Gerard.
Yeah, I think that's a big enough number. It's kind of how I felt with Penge, where, there's some areas of the games that are lacking. And I think that Ryan Gerard, there's way less areas of concern for him compared to Penge. Like you said, solid off the tee, fantastic approach. If he's not in trouble with the short game and if he gets that putter going early, this is a really good opportunity and a good place for him to find some success.
For sure.
Moving into a crossover play for us, it is Ryan Fox. I got him at 90. I believe you got him at 80.
Yeah, I don't know. His number has been really weird today. It opened, I saw him at 90, went to place, and I found 80 by the time I was able to place my odds. Then I saw him as high as 100 after my places, all of that. Either way, he's been hammered down.
Yeah. He ranks fifth in my model this week, was one of my first clicks. I think he's going to be one of
Same.
the most popular, if not the
Oh,
most
especially at
popular.
that number, there's no doubt.
Yeah, he's been playing some phenomenal golf in the 2026 season. 4 starts, all of them within the top 25, highlighted by a T7 at the Genesis Invitational. He's teed it up twice at Memorial Park, where he finished T78 in 2024 and T15 in 2025. This course fits his game perfectly, where he could just use that power off the tee, spray it, not spray it too crazy, but these are wide fairways, non-penal rough. He can kind of just nuke the ball down the fair or nuke it as far as he can, where he has the great iron play, the beautiful short game. This is really like if there is one course I could pick for
Mhm.
Ryan Fox to have success at, it would be Memorial Park. This guy already has 2 PGA Tour victories. He's only been on the PGA Tour for a couple seasons now. On the season so far, he ranks 25th in strokes gained total, 49th off the tee, 75th on approach, 28th around the greens, and 35th with the putter. It's just it felt like a perfect storm. It would be a huge community winner because I feel like he's on every betting
Yeah.
card I've seen so far.
Yeah, that number was too huge between 80 and 100. I mean, I would consider him down to probably 55 or 60 if I'm going to be completely
Yeah.
honest at this golf course. So I saw that number and jumped right at when I could. And yeah, everything you talked about, this seems like an ideal course for Ryan Fox. I know the concern there. He had, he had to withdraw from the players because he had surgery to had some lasers, blast apart some kidney stones. There, as he described, he was in 10 out of 10 pain. So hopefully he's regrouped and recouped and ready to go here at Memorial Park. All right. I think this is our last play, right? And it's a crossover again, Jake. So we have 3 of 5 crossover on our cards this week.
Yep.
All right. So Shooter Sharn, Yelomiraju, 125 to 1. What's your number?
Yep. Same there. Once.
Okay. So this is the new PGA Tour fanboy. This is what everyone loves. You know, the story of he didn't go to college because he simply couldn't afford it, so he became a professional golfer instead. Learned the game when he came over to Canada with his family, or vice versa, right? Did he come to Canada or did he go from Canada to India? Either
Uh,
way,
yeah.
whatever. Anyways, he learned at an older age than most professional golfers start, has an unconventional route, self-taught. Again, just simply skipped college because he couldn't afford it and became a professional golfer. And he's made it all the way to the PGA Tour, and it's been exciting, right? He last played the Players where he placed fifth. Prior to that, 27th in Puerto Rico, 17th at Cognizant, 54th at Phoenix, 56th in Farmers, missed the cut of the American Express, and 13th at the Sony Open Hawaii. Seventh on tour in ball striking, eighth in proximity to the hole from 200 plus yards, 11th in strokes gained putting Bermuda, 15th in driving distance, 25th, in green regulations, 28th on approach, 32nd in bogey avoidance. Everything is elite there, except once you start falling down, 100th in scrambling, 145th around the green, and that just comes with reps and understanding these greenside runoffs on the PGA Tour. But what I mentioned there with his approach numbers are elite, his long iron numbers are elite, his plus distance off the tee, above average there. The putting on Bermuda above average there. So everything lines out for a 125 here. I don't know. I know I don't venture on Twitter as much as I used to, so I'm not sure how popular he is, but I feel like he should be just simply because he's a fan favorite at this point and has a big number next to him. But yeah, I love to play too much to ignore things.
Yeah, Nate, I'm with you. It's PGA Tour rookie, great story. Feels like a good opportunity. He's playing some phenomenal golf. I'm just hoping he, again, like similar to your feel with Adam Scott. I mean, obviously at much deeper odds, but if this guy could just stick his irons and not have to play too much around the greens, the rest of the game has shown a lot
Hmm.
of life over the start of his PGA Tour career. And I think that this could be a really good opportunity for him to break through. So I'm there with you, 125 to 1. I think he might end up hitting the wheel of death just because of how big his odds are.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to be in that, top slot like the Ryan Foxes of the world or Marco Penge.
Yeah, or Brooks Koepka simply because it's Brooks Koepka and he consulted on this golf course, so I know he'll definitely be there. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, it'd be such an awesome story. I love stories like that. These self-taught people, not just country club silver spoon players who come in and have a clear path to the PGA. The Bubba Watsons of the world, those type of guys who just learned to golf and love the game and became rather good at it. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see what comes of it. All right, Jake, anything to add about the Texas Children's Houston Open? Look how good
Uh,
I am at that.
Nate, DFS write-up guy, just honorable mention, Kevin Yu, your guy. I think that this is a really good spot for him.
He's
Just
been pretty
throwing that
poor to
out
start
there.
this season.
Yep.
I haven't even put any sometimes in the background I'll put like guilt-free bets on the Kevin Hughes. I do Tom Kim every single week just in case he does hit that I have a little bit something something, so I'm not completely off of it, but I just haven't even done that for Kevin Yu yet because he just isn't showing anything.
Yep.
All right, so as we aforementioned, we have another golf event this week, the Hero Indian Open, of course, in India. But this is the final event of the DP World Tour before a month-long hiatus, including a break for the Masters in there. So if you're a DP World Tour fan, this is your last chance to watch some golf for about next month or so. But we're here at the DLF Golf and Country Club in Gurgaon, India. This has been the host since 2017, of course. COVID threw some wrenches in there. There's a 3-year hiatus. Blah blah blah. This event has been in existence since 1964 and up until 2000 was held exclusively at the Dolly Golf Club or the Royal Calcutta Golf Club. It's been a part of the DP World Tour schedule since 2015. So the field, much of who we saw last week at the Hainan Classic, is making their way back in India just because of proximity, right? If you're already over there, might as well make a 2-week event out of it, opposed to one for double payday. So we'll see a slew of DP World Tour regulars, but we also have 2026 Arnold Palmer Invitational winner and Hero brand ambassador Akshay Bhatia making the trip over here this week for his, I guess this will have to be his final tune-up for the Masters himself, considering they're in Texas this week. I don't think he's going to fly from India to Texas for a round before the Masters. So this will probably be our last chance to see the lefty get it done on the golf course. We'll also see some of the live guys with live being off until post Masters as well. We have David Puig and Elvis Smiley playing this week. And so we also have some former winners of the DP World Tour this season playing in Dan Bradbury, Casey Jarvis, Freddie Schott, and Nacho Elvira. Eugenia Shikara comes in the defending champion, having topped Kaito Nakajima by 2 strokes a season ago. So as previously mentioned, the Gary Player course at the DLF Golf and Country Club is regarded as one of the most challenging tracks in the world of professional golf. Not just India, not just Asia, the entire world. At par 72 at roughly 7,293 yards. The yardage is hard to pin down though because it's been listed as much as 7,600 and it's been as low as 7,200. So we'll see what happens there. The fairways are narrow with some undulation. Water comes into play on 7 holes. That's 1, 5, 6, 8, 9, 16, and 18. The course is wall-to-wall Bermuda, including the greens. These greens are large and undulating. Eddie Pepperell once said that this course has been designed by Satan himself, quote unquote, literally every shot something can go wrong. It's quite a walk, and mentally, it will be very draining to stay up there if you're up there the whole week in contention. And then Matt Wallace in 2018 said, every hole is a double bogey waiting to happen, and that's a quote. So in all this will be a true test of not only complete golf game, but can fair to play more to the mental side of things than not. Golfers who need to accept that they'll have some bad holes this week, but it'll be those who can bounce back on the very next hole that will have a chance to win this week. Jake, anything to add here about DLF or this event as a whole?
Nope, I think you covered it all.
All right, so let's move into our betting cards here, Jake. I think I do have one or two more than you, so I'll kick things off here. And I know I've told myself this, and I'm pretty sure I've told Jake this verbally, but we've also told ourselves things verbally that don't, we hold to, as in, Jake playing Ludwig Oberg at the Players after we said we would never play Ludwig again. But either way, I'm going to do something that I typically would never do, and that's Angel Ayura here at 20-1. Full transparency, this is boosted. I think I saw him as high as 18 on Bucks this morning, but I played a 16 with a boost to get to 20 just to fit him in my card this week because he just topped my model, and I just think this is one of the better, if not the best, DP World Tour regular guy. And this is if you're a fan of Spanish golf, you have some young guys that are exciting, and yours headlining that way. Of course, David Puig still super young, but let's see. I've lost everything. On the season, Ayura is currently 5th on tour, so this is his stats. 5th in strokes gained tee to green. He's 6th off the tee, 9th in scrambling and putting, 11th on approach, 19th in bogeys, 31st in total driving, and 60th in green regulations. Over his last 5 outings, 28th at Hannon, 18th at the Joburg, 9th in South African Open, 8th in Kenya, 5th at Qatar Masters. Played this event a season ago, 52nd there. Either way, he is top 10 in almost every stat. He's a top 5, top 10 waiting to happen every single week. And with Akshay in this field and David Puig in this field, we finally got a number where, again, it boosted to 20. I felt okay playing. And again, I'm not sure how many chances I'm going to get to play Ayura this season. Maybe until we get later in the season when the PGA Tour guys come over. But by then, who knows? So I really wanted to get him in at some point this season just because this is a stud. This is a potential star in the making once he gets to the PGA Tour. So just, again, want to have a little skin in the game, and 20-1's where I went with Ayura.
Yeah, Nate, he's the real deal. I think that he's going to have a long-lasting career, whether that be on the DP World Tour. He will definitely get his way to the PGA Tour, it looks like this year, in my
Or
opinion.
live.
Yeah, or yeah, true. But again, just an elite talent. 20-1 is about the stomachable number for
Mhm.
me. So if that number was lingering, I probably would have joined you on him. Again, you said you boosted him. But 18, I still think, again,
Yeah,
why would 2 points bother you if
I would
this
have taken 18 if I didn't get the boost at 20. I was ready for it.
right? And again, this is an elite talent. I'm not too worried about, the likes of Akshay and Puig just because
No.
they're not used to playing on the DP World Tour. And although the competition isn't so strong, this golf course is so difficult that I don't think it really matters. I
Yeah,
mentioned that this was more of a dart throw, and it feels like just take the talent here.
yeah, and actually he's coming as a brand ambassador, right? Playing the PGA Tour for however got his victory at the API. I don't think he's coming for serious contention. If he won't admit that, but And then Puig has played 3 straight weeks on live and hasn't been in form until last week. So we'll see what comes of it. But you mentioned that, yeah, with those two kind of stumbling across the line, I guess, into this week, I could mark my words. But yeah, I was really excited about Eora this week.
Yep. Moving into my first play here, I went with Jorge Campillo. I got him at
Yep.
3-1. Again, I think he'll be pretty popular, but a runner-up finish at the Heinen last week has had some really strong finishes this season on the DP World Tour, just peppering top 20 and top 25 finishes. He missed a couple cuts in the middle. I'm happy to throw those out. That's my favorite thing to do. We like to make fun of. But again, at this event throughout his career, he has one top 10 and two top fives. Again, he's a bit on the older side. I believe he's 39 or 40 years old. So he's actually had the pleasure of playing this course multiple times or playing at this event multiple times and having some good finishes. So again, kind of just tournament history combined with playing some good golf in recent form. I couldn't really pass up the number on him at 30-1.
Yeah, I mean, I would have considered that heavily if I didn't go with the Aura and have to fit some long shots in here to make the card work. So I do love to play. And again, the run of form is great with the course history. And, favoring towards some of these older guys who can keep themselves mentally, who have been across the finish line before to get it done at a golf course like this. My next guy here, Eugen Ferguson, it's 42-1, just kind of old trusty, a staple on DP World Tours for a long time. Currently 17th on tour in graded relations. He's 18th in putting, 30th in bogey avoidance, 33rd in total driving, 34th on approach, 35th tee to green, 43rd off the tee, and 71st in scrambling. Last play the Joburg, where he placed 40 or 57th, excuse me. Prior to that, he placed 9th in South Africa, 17th here a season ago, and 47th in 2024. You know, it's kind of hard. You know what you and Ferguson you're going to get, but when he's on, he's on. He's been on the DP World Tour for a while. He's played all these events multiple times. He's a winner before. So I think again, with a veteran presence, being able to mentally hold yourself and has the game to do it.
Yeah, Nate, nothing to really add there. Ferguson's just that solid DP World Tour presence. Like you said, I think that, he loves to hit fairways. He's a solid putter. That's, usually two things that are really beneficial at tough golf courses, putting yourself in positions and saving yourself with the flat stick. So I think Ferguson is a really good option this week.
There we go.
Moving into my second play here, I only have three this week, so this is my middle. It's Adrian Otaegui. I got him at 51-1. So again, weird number, but he
I'm just gonna
opened up
say, Jake,
way
you
high.
switched this entire card up from what we talked about at the start of the show. These are not the names you said before we started the show.
Yeah. Um,
I'm so
look,
confused.
look, I got to do what I got to do here. But again, just kind of also finding influence on that last guy, Nate.
Yeah.
This Otegi is a guy who smacks fairways and has the elite irons and around the green game. The driving distance is not there, which is a little bit concerning because the recent winners that we spoke about before the podcast started, they tend to be a little bit on the longer side with the driver. And again, the putter is what holds this guy back throughout his career. But it's just hard to ignore the recent form. In his last three starts, he has a T6 at both the Joburg Open and the Investec South African Open Championship, and then a T3 at the Heinen Classic. So just playing some awesome golf. Another guy who's on the older side. They're actually, wait, he's younger than I thought. He's only 33, but I thought he was way
Oh
older.
yeah, I would have bet he was in his 40s.
Yeah, I was thinking the same, but I guess ignore me. He's played this tournament five times in his career. Ugh, he has one top 10, one top 15, so some good finishes here at this tournament. Just looking to find fairways and maybe get lucky with the flat stick here for Otegi this week.
For sure. Again, another guy that was on my short list. Just the run of form has been great. A run up a season ago, or not runner up, but what was he last week at the Hanen?
Yep, the Heinen, yeah, or whatever it's pronounced.
He had great performance there. Great performance for a long time here. And like you said, I'm going to talk about like an older guy right now, and that could be the key this week. I might as well just roll into that. Francesco Molinari, 68-1, the 43-year-old three-time PGA Tour winner. Has some decent results across his limited action on the DP World Tour so far this season. Played last week at the Hanen, 34th there. Earlier in the season, he placed 4th at the Hero Dubai Desert Classic, 47th at the Dubai Invitational, and 10th at the Nedbank Golf Challenge. So his stats, take these as a grain of salt because he's only played 4 events. But it's currently 13th on tour and approach, 19th tee to green, 28th in bogey avoidance and total driving, 50th in putting, 51st in scrambling, 57th off the tee, and 63rd in green regulation. So we talked about it. The veteran presence, being able to hold yourself, be there, been there, done that. The guys who can, have a double bogey but can bounce back with a birdie or a par on the next hole. That'll be absolutely crucial to when you start compiling bogeys and double bogeys is when you really take yourself out of contention. Francisco Molinari, he's a three-time winner of the PGA Tour, although this is well over a decade ago. I think 2018 was his last win. But he's done that. He's won the DP World Tour. He's won the PGA Tour. 43 years old. He's been around for a long time at 68 to 1. I know we have a very small sample size of 4 events so far this season, but I think it's enough to see what this guy's made of. Of course, you're going to get the irons, you're going to get the approach play. Distance is going to be there and things like that, but I think there's enough there for some meat on the bone to take a chance here on Francisco Molinari.
Yeah, Nate, I got nothing to really add there. He's got the winning pedigree. He won the Open back in 2018, so he's, a major champion, I believe. So it's just if he finds himself in a position which he's proven that he has to start, a couple times on the DP World Tour this season at a challenging golf course, like you said, this is a guy who could hold his stature and really take down a tournament and isn't going to be scared of these
Hmm.
top guys in quotes, you know, he's not scared of David Puig,
Yeah.
Akshay Bhatia, Angel Ayora. These guys are scared of him.
Yeah,
So it's one of those that at some bigger odds, if he finds himself in the position, I think it's a really good shot for him.
for sure.
My last play here, Nate, I know you got a couple more, but it's Rafa Cabrera Bello. I got him at 130 to 1. Just playing some solid golf over the start of the DP World Tour season. He had a T23 last week at the Heineken Classic, missed the cut the week before at the Joburg, but had a T9 at the Investec South African Open the week before that. He's played this tournament 3 times in his career. He missed the cut in the two most recent renditions of this, but had a T5 all the way back in 2017. So again, I guess I'm just going to hang my hat on a top five at this place. He's rather solid in hitting fairways. The irons are a little bit to leaves a little bit to be desired there with the irons. But again, the putter is really strong for Cabrera Bello. So as long as he puts himself in positions, I think that he has a really good chance to get it done at 130 to 1. This is the old guy. He's 41 years old. Went with a little bit more there, but four-time DP World Tour champion, another guy that if he finds himself in that position, like we've talked about with almost everyone we've covered so far, he knows how to get it
Mhm.
done, and I trust him to get it done in some challenging golf courses. So maybe at 130 to 1, I can get lucky.
Yeah, you're going with the full Spain kind of card because Otague was Spaniard before he
Yeah.
switched to UAE. So, yeah, no, he was the first guy off my list in terms of my long shots there. Bella Cabrera, that was, or Cabrera Bello, I think is in that order. But yeah, love to play. I was right there with you until I went with these two guys, which I'll talk about real quick. Just some two long shots for you. We have Daniel Rodriguez, first of all. Comes in this week in some great form. Sixth last week of the Hannon. Prior to that, 43rd in South Africa Open, 29th in Kenya, 65th in Qatar, 31st in Bahrain, 12th on tour in green regulations. He's 20th in bogey avoidance, 33rd in putting, 37th off the tee, 38th tee to green, 49th scrambling, 60th total driving, 64th approach. 180 to 1, there's some stats there I just could not ignore. Some decent form of the top 10 or top 6 a week ago. So that's why I went with Rodriguez. And then Jake, you had a statement earlier where putting is a difference in these challenging golf courses and these challenging events because birdie chances and saving par are going to be far and few between. So Tobias Johansson, 250 to 1, one of the tour's best putters, currently second on tour in putting, also 17th in total driving, 24th green regulations. He's 25th off the tee, 50th tee to green, 66th in scrambling, 70th on approach, and 87th bogey avoidance. Again, this is an event where putting could be the difference, and he's second on tour in that. That's basically it. 34th last week at Hannon. Prior to that, miscut at Joburg, 42nd in Kenya, 48th in Qatar, 34th in Bahrain, 18th in Marathas. So nothing really to write home about there. But again, just could be one of those guys to find himself in the right place, the right time. Kind of withhold some things, maybe hit some long par putts to save par, steal a few birdies here or there, and find himself in contention at 250 to 1. A little to win a lot.
Yeah, can't argue that.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for this week's Hero Indian Open and then the podcast as a whole. So next week we remain in Texas for what's the event, Jake?
It is the Valero Texas Open.
There we go. There we go. Look at that, guys. We're prepared this week just because we know. And then what events after that, Jake?
I think it's a little event called the Masters.
Yeah, it's right around the corner, guys. Super stoked for that one, but we still got 2 weeks before then. Hopefully, we can get a winner or two before then. Maybe give us a little bit of playing money to have a little more fun at the Masters than whatnot. I know we both have some futures out of the Masters. I mean, I know I do, just a little bit. I'm sure Jake has something there as well. We'll talk about that when due time. Can't wait for that. But before we do get it off this thing here, Jake, where are you on your social media?
Yep, you can follow me on X at JakeOOTR, where I share all my outright betting cards. I also encourage you to join the Out of the Rough Discord, 100% free with no hidden paywalls. Once you're in there, you have access to everything. The community includes 275 plus members and is an excellent free resource to have at your disposal. Just reach out to Nate or myself, and we will get you the link to join that.
For sure. You can follow myself, Nate, on Twitter at NateOOTR. Be sure to follow Out of the Rough on all forms of social media. Be sure to check out OOTRough.com. Until next time, guys, we'll see you.